Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Every year, the World Innovation Summit for Education, WISE, here in Doha, rewards an individual or a group of 6 people for their outstanding work in education. The prize, worth $500,000 is seen as the Nobel Prize for Education and has become a highly competitive contest. And the selection criteria are certainly very tough. This year's WISE winner is no longer a secret. Vicky Colberts, the founder of Colombian NGO Fundación Escuela Nueva, has grabbed the world's attention for her work with underprivileged children in Colombia, and now the model is spreading worldwide. We meet her in this report.
Mountains aren't the biggest obstacles Vicky Colberts has to overcome. Rather, it's a range of other challenges. For 38 years, she and her Quijotes de Escuela Nueva group have been transforming education in rural Colombia and earned the country high scores in international education ratings. Her model has been adopted around the world. Based on the concept of cooperative pedagogy, it involves pupils, teachers and the wider community.
What I say is that we have to change the way we learn. We cannot learn in the same way we did 100 years ago. Today we talk a lot about 21st century skills, which are so many things. I'm talking about basic things, things that a computer cannot do. But we can't master these skills with the teacher speaking from the front of the class. How can you learn to participate if you're simply sitting listening to someone talking the whole time? How can you work in a team if you can't work as an individual? So we have to change the way we learn, and the simplest way to do that is through the class. Colombia has shown it can be done. We can change the paradigm on a grand scale, massively, and not just in one school, but in 25,000.
At the age of 24, having just finished her sociology studies at Stanford University in the US, Vicky returned to Colombia with an obsession: basic education for all to drive change in the country. To this end, Escuela Nueva created a method that could be used by any teacher, whether they had a PhD or not. Hundreds of teachers were trained, and they trained others in their turn. Very quickly, results in rural schools began to improve. Then the model was gradually rolled out in some urban schools. The kids learn through playing and interacting. There's a lot of talking. The teachers and pupils use guidebooks to help them work better in split-level classes.
One advantage of these materials is that the pupils can, in certain contexts, apply what they learn in school to family life and even in the wider community.
In the Escuela Nueva philosophy, the child is at the centre of the learning process. The goal is to empower them and let each one learn at their own rhythm. The teacher is a facilitator, providing feedback to the pupil. Since its creation, the Escuela model has been exported to 16 countries and won more than a dozen education awards. Pedro Pablo leads the teacher training. Every year he runs up to 30 workshops with around 40 in each one. He was among the method's pioneers, but for him, Vicky stood out. The WISE Prize, a kind of Nobel for education, was richly deserved.
Vicky is una líder. Es una gran líder. Vicky is a leader, a great leader. She's a very human person. She's someone who knows her people very well, who knows the characteristics and capacities of each one. She believes in others and has helped everyone close to her grow in their own way. I believe she's enabled all of us to grow.
Since 1987, this genial grandmother has been director of the Escuela Nueva Foundation. For Vicky, it's a beacon for the quality and universal themes of the Escuela method. But who inspired Vicky to inspire others?
Mi madre es una gran profesora. Fundó normales.
My mother was a great teacher. She set up teacher training centers herself. And my godfather, Rafael Bernal Jimenez, was among those who led the Escuela Nueva movement in Colombia and the new humanism pedagogy which spread from France and Europe at the beginning of the 20th century. Many of his ideas were applied in the elite institutions, but never in the poor schools. So I told myself we have to push ahead with these goals, these principles.
That mission continues to spread. El Rosal Acombite School in Boyacá lies 1,300 meters high in the mountains. It takes some pupils an hour on foot to get to school. There are 27 in the class, encompassing 6 different levels. Today the oldest are learning about perimeters and areas. Others are studying triangles. And the little ones are doing collage.
We're working with measurements, and we have to measure the door, the canteen tables, and now we're asked to measure the corridor. We have to draw them in our exercise books and add the measurements.
Hoy las matemáticas.
Today I love the maths and decimals, because I would love to take part in maths competitions to win a prize, or just to be on TV.
The teacher, Maria Isabel, has worked for 15 years in other Colombian schools. She says she can see the difference the Escuela method makes.
The capacities of the kids here, they're happy, active, engaged. We don't force them to learn things or give them orders as such, because these children are autonomous in their decision-making. They're leaders. They do things with more pleasure, more love, more happiness. They're all the time playing with and participating in their own education.
It's perhaps an old idea in new clothes, but the Escuela Nueva framework is now being replicated in a growing number of countries. So what does Vicky intend to do with the $500,000 in prize money?
The needs of the developing world. That's where I want to work. Secondary education is a challenge. Urban areas, that's a very big challenge. And I think that now we'll begin to take the model beyond the school, to non-formal contexts. Women's organizations, where there are organizations and associations. I want to offer this global recognition to all teachers of Escuela Nueva in Colombia and in other countries. I'm the most visible person at the moment, but they're the ones who deserve this award. So I want to ask you to symbolically deliver this prize to them.
Vicky Colberts and Escuela Nueva are the protagonists of a silent revolution. The method has already transformed the lives of some 5 million children around the world.
The whole team here at Learning World sends congratulations to Vicky, and you can message her too via our social media pages. Keep your comments coming in. We love hearing from you. And now, goodbye from all the team. See you again next week.